What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you an awesome video. As always, the best roller coaster in each state, part 1. These are basically the United States from A to M, the best roller coaster in each one. Let's get started with Alabama, with Rampage at Alabama Splash Adventure. This is a CCI wooden coaster there. Looks like a decent coaster, decent looking drop. Few hills and turns around. Looks like an alright wooden coaster. Nothing really to shout out at, but it looks okay. Alaska, unfortunately, has no roller coasters. Unlike Arizona with Desert Storm at Castles and Coasters, this coaster was built by Hopkins in the 90s, and this coaster surprisingly has white track and green supports. Not the color scheme you'd think of with a desert, but this coaster has pretty cool looking trains, pretty cool colors, a few decent inversions, an okay layout. The vertical loops are oddly shaped, but it looks like a decent ride. And it has lap bars too, so pretty alright ride. Arkansas, you have X Coaster at Magic Springs and Crystal Falls. In this southern state, this is by far the best coaster in there. This coaster looks really cool. You launch up onto this spike, go through an inversion. Pretty short ride, but it looks really fun. And overall, despite being a rare credit, it looks like a very good ride. At California, we have Twisted Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. In my opinion, the best coaster in California by far. This coaster has two sides, a Mobius loop. Despite being a Mobius loop coaster, this ride just delivers. It has just amazing inversions, pacing, airtime, drops. It's just an awesome coaster, super long ride. You start out on blue side, and then after you're done with blue side, you ride green side, and then you're done after that. Super long ride time. Awesome RMC hybrid, and one of the best coasters built by RMC, one of the best in the world. Next, we have Colorado, which has Sidewinder at Lich Gardens. This is an aerodynamics coaster. This is one of their boomerang style coasters with the one vertical loop in the middle. Kind of an okay coaster. It's a classic. Not too bad of a ride. It's pretty solid. Nice classic ride. Next we have Connecticut, which has Boulder Dash at Lake Compounce as their best coaster. Lake Compounce is a pretty small amusement park, and Boulder Dash is the star attraction there, as well as the state of Connecticut. This coaster had some sections of it retract, and it's a lot smoother now. It has some awesome airtime moments, and despite not being the tallest coaster out there, it really delivers with the terrain with its insane turns and hills through the trees. It's just an awesome wooden coaster, and definitely a credit I really want to get someday. Next we have Delaware with no roller coasters. But unlike them, Florida actually has a ton of roller coasters, and in my opinion, their best coaster is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. And this is my second favorite roller coaster I've ever ridden. Number 2 in the whole world for me. This ride is awesome. It is smooth. It is fast. It has amazing airtime. And it's super rideable. It's awesome. This coaster has an awesome drop, amazing bank turns, and I marathoned it like so many times. It's amazing. Next, we have Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. This is an awesome B&M hypercoaster. Really good ride. It has a lot of airtime hills and helixes throughout the ride, several turns, and it's a really long ride. By far the best coaster in Georgia. Hawaii, unfortunately, has no roller coasters, but somewhere with some roller coasters is Idaho, with their best coaster being Aftershock at Silverwood. This is an awesome Vekoma giant inverted boomerang, unlike some Vekoma boomerang at Six Flags New England, Goliath. But Aftershock is a really really cool ride. It has two massive vertical spikes, a cobra roll vertical loop, and you transfer through both those inversions twice. It's a really fun ride, and overall, it's a really good experience. You go forwards to start, then you go backwards. Next, we have my home state, Illinois, with Max Force at Six Flags Great America, and this ride delivers with the Max Force name. This ride has a powerful 0 to 78 mile per hour launch in under 2 seconds, as well as 5 very smooth and very fun inversions. This coaster is glossy smooth. Amazing launch, amazing restraints, amazing trains, amazing color scheme. This ride delivers everything except the long ride. This ride's 20 seconds, but despite that, it packs so much into the layout, despite its compact ride and short experience. Next, we have Indiana with The Voyage at Holiday World. This is what you call a wooden hypercoaster, a massive ride with massive hills and insane wooden structure. This Gravity Group wooden coaster is just phenomenal. This coaster, if you can get a night ride on it, it just gets even better with the trims off. It's just, the trim breaks off. It's just an awesome ride. Huge. It's over 160 feet tall, almost 70 miles per hour. It's super long, and it's just an awesome, awesome wooden roller coaster. One of the best roller coasters in the world, and by far the best coaster in Indiana. Way over the next best coaster, which would be probably Thunderbird or Steelhog, or some of Holiday World's other wooden coasters like Legend or Raven. Like way better. Like on another level of those. Iowa, we have the Monster at Adventureland, Iowa. And this is a pretty alright coaster, pretty solid looking ride. It has a nice looking lift hill with that vertical lift beyond vertical drop, and it has several inversions throughout the ride. This is the newest coaster at Adventureland, and it's a very fun ride. Next, we have Kansas with, unfortunately, a kiddie coaster as their best coaster in the state. Python Pit at Zonkers. Despite having a cool looking train, this coaster doesn't really deliver that much. Next, we have Kentucky, which is a tie between Lightning Run and Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom. Both these coasters are phenomenal rides. Lightning Run is an awesome, intense, compact coaster with amazing airtime, while Storm Chaser is a bit more drawn out but still very compact, has some amazing inversions, airtime hills, and bank turns, and they're both really, really fun ride experiences with solid ride times, and they're both very smooth rides. And by far the best in Kentucky. Louisiana, we unfortunately have a Vekoma Boomerang as their best coaster by default because, well, Six Flags New Orleans closed down almost 15 years ago, and their best coaster, probably in like 2005, was the wooden coaster there. So, Ragin' Cajun at Dixie Landing, this Vekoma Boomerang is taking this spot. Next, we have Maine with Excalibur at Funtown Splashtown, USA. Not too much to go over with this coaster. Decent looking wooden coaster surrounded by trees. Cool looking castle station. That's about it. Next, we have Maryland, which has Six Flags America's Superman Ride of Steel, which is the best coaster in Maryland. And this coaster is a behemoth hypercoaster from Intamin. Very tall, very fast, has a lot of big airtime hills, but unfortunately a lot of big helixes. Two massive double helixes are about half this ride, but despite that fact, they're both very fun and they're pretty fast. They aren't that boring of elements that always you're flying through them, and there are some straight sections, but that doesn't matter. This is the best coaster in Maryland. Very fun ride. Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a place with two coasters tied to be the best in the state, and that is the two best coasters at Six Flags New England, Superman Ride of Steel and Wicked Cyclone. And yeah, I didn't say Twisted Cyclone. Wicked Cyclone. There's a difference. Twisted Cyclone is at Six Flags Over Georgia. So yeah, Wicked Cyclone is an awesome RMC coaster, super compact layout, awesome inversions and airtime hills and bank turns. It's just your traditional amazing RMC hybrid. And Superman the Ride is an awesome Intamin hypercoaster that was built in the early 2000s. I believe it was 2000. And this ride is loaded with airtime hills and a pretty cool spaghetti track section at the ending. And both of them are equally awesome, so they get the tie for best coaster in Massachusetts. But with Michigan, there's no competition here. Shivering Timbers is by far the best roller coaster in Michigan. Located at Michigan's Adventure, the only really good amusement park in Michigan. This coaster towers over everything there and is a massive ride. It looks like a wooden hyper roller coaster like the Voyage. It has a massive drop, several massive airtime hills, and part of it got retracked in 2017 by GCI. So this ride is awesome. It's smoother than it used to be back in 2016 and before, and it's just a super long ride as well. It's just amazing how long this ride goes. It goes on forever. Minnesota, the best coaster there is Wild Thing at Valley Fair, and you would think, oh, SpongeBob SquarePants. Nope. Wild Thing at Valley Fair is their best coaster. This thing is tall, fast, and looks like an old Aerodynamics hypercoaster with the structure and supports, but this coaster was built by Morgan Manufacturing, and they did a really good job with this coaster. This ride is tall, fast, long, and fairly smooth, has some good airtime, and it's just an overall really good ride and the best in Valley Fair and Minnesota. Next we have Mississippi, which is known for a lot of bad things, but also All-American Coaster at Exchange Club Fair. Not really that good of a coaster. It's kind of a smaller ride, and it's not that good of a coaster. Mississippi is one of the worst places to go in the nation if you want to find a good roller coaster. Yeah, moving on to Missouri, which is a place with a lot of really good roller coasters, but their best coaster is Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, RMC Woody with a massive drop, several inversions, and by far the best coaster in the state, and Silver Dollar City. You could give it to Time Traveler, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, American Thunder. Those are really, really good rides, but not quite on the level of Outlaw Run. And that was the end of part 1. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.